All right. Now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Fatima Bidemi Oyewole. I will be the moderator for today's discussion. I hope you can hear me, ma. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. I welcome you all to another episode of our monthly discussion at MIRA. In MIRA, Muslim in Research and Academics, we aim to empower Muslims in higher education academics in their academic pursuits, helping them to thrive and achieve success. Starting with, we give thanks to Almighty Allah, who has made it possible for us to witness this wonderful discussion. May He grant us goodness from it. Amen. I welcome us once again, our guest lecturers and other attendees, to this impactful discussion. It's promised to be educative and informative. So this is the agenda for the meeting. And the topic we are discussing today is Guide to Securing a Postgraduate Scholarship. If I may ask, why is this topic important? As we all know, scholarships are highly competitive. And so addressing this topic can make us to understand how to stand out in various fields and that will improve our chances of being selected. And alhamdulillah, today we have two scholars with us, and the first speaker is scholar Hafiz Olalekan Saka. He's a 2023 chevening scholar. And the second speaker is scholar Aliyu Umar Sadiq. He's a 2024 chevening plus Erasmus scholar. Permit me to briefly talk about the profile of the scholars. Scholar Hafiz Olalekan Saka, 2023 chevening scholar. Scholar Hafiz is an edutech professional and a 2023 chevening scholar at the University of Bristol. He studied Masters in Education, Learning Technology and Society, with an extensive interest in edutech and research. Scholar Hafiz is known to understand innovative ways on how teachers and students could leverage artificial intelligence in career education for secondary school students in Nigeria. Scholar Hafiz also has an initiative like Lassed Africa and Community Tech Lab, focusing on literacy and bridging digital divide. Scholar Hafiz is an alumnus of Teach for Nigeria and the Director of Curriculum Development at KLCI. He has earned multiple accolades, including the Best Teacher for the 2021 BSc Challenge and Teach with Tech Challenge. MashaAllah. His commitment to education transformation, student leadership, and teacher empowerment keep making him a beacon of positive change. This is the social handle for the scholars. In case you might want to connect with him on the social handles, on the social network, please, you can do that at your own leisure time. Permit me to talk about the second speakers. In person of scholar Aliyu Umar Sadiq. He is a 2024 chevening Erasmus scholar. Scholar Aliyu Sadiq is a young environmental leader currently pursuing a master's in environmental science policy and management under the European Union funded Erasmus scholarship. He is also the co-founder of EcoCycle, a social enterprise dedicated to achieving climate action and zero waste in Nigeria. So let's pick our pen also as we get started active discussion. Thanks for joining once again. So, and I will permit the first speaker to continue from there. So, Scholar Hafiz is over. I handle it over to you, sir, so you can.
Okay. Jazakumullah khairan, Fatima. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So permit me to share my screen. I think, yeah. Good. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir. We can see your screen, sir.
Okay. Yes, all right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. So I need to confirm something first. How many minutes do I have for this session?
Sir, you have 30 minutes, sir.
Okay, Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
I hope I'll be able to manage the time well. So, so today, based on what the moderator has informed us about, we'll be talking about how to, harness global opportunities like scholarship for postgraduate studies and other interested thing we will want to make use of when it comes to global opportunities. But before then, I want to say Jazakumullah khairan for the invite. It's an honor to be here. And thanks to Sister Mariam, who also invited me. And every one of you here too. It's something very unique and personal to me to be in a Muslim community talking about scholarship opportunities. Walilahi alhamd, I would say uh, winning a scholarship opportunity probably, I would say, has a lot in it and it has a lot of intentionality. But to cut everything short, there is no way we want to, even beyond scholarship opportunity, there is no way we want to win or achieve anything in life without the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he's the one who destined everything. And if we try our best to win, and we do, alhamdulillah, if we've been trying for a while and we've not gotten anyone yet, walillahi alhamd. Because as Muslim as well, we always say that whatever Allah has given to us or whatever Allah has withdrawn from us, we still have to keep appreciating Allah at every situation. So I know some of us might be on this call and we've applied to opportunities for like more than 2 times. Yeah, it has happened. Even myself, at some point, I applied for some stuff and I was like, okay, I think I have enough story to share to win this thing. So when I apply and even though within few days, you just get the rejection mail, like we regret to inform you. Unfortunately, some will even say, thank you for taking your time to apply and for your response to the essay. However, all those grammar that are disheartening, and you feel like, okay, this is a love letter. You just accept it like, yeah, we'll try again. Well, one thing about trying again is to really ask yourself, do I really learn from the feedback I got? What was my mistake? What do I need to do better? I know some people keep repeating the same mistake, like they apply once, they get rejected, they apply the second time, they get rejected. And if you keep asking them, they feel like, yeah, I'll just refine my essay. I'll just change some stuff, I'll just apply again. Sometimes it might not work like that. Maybe you need to, step back a little and reflect deeply and ask yourself, why am I even applying in the first place? Why am I applying? Then ask yourself, what are the requirements? What are the requirements I need to apply for this opportunity, be it a scholarship or any other global opportunities? Then keep reflecting on all these things. Like you keep asking again, who do I need to speak with if I need the right information to have access to these opportunities? There are a lot of things you need to keep reflecting about, and from there, clarity will keep coming. I would say when I heard first about scholarship opportunity when I was in school, I never thought maybe I would apply anytime when I was still an undergraduate student. So I only think maybe those that used to apply for scholarship are those who are scholars in universities who are in, let's say, first class and with a strong 2-1. And as at then, when I know about scholarship, I think I was in 300 level. I only know of a friend, a lady, who wanted, who always talk about scholarship. And I know that she's a very brilliant person, and I can't, compare myself with her intelligence. I was like, okay, scholarship is for you people. Inshallah, I'll keep supporting you with prayers. And after going for my NYSC, I see my colleagues as well applying. Some of them are saying they are writing IELTS. I was like, IELTS, yes. Why? What are they writing? Why are they writing this? Who are those that are writing it? But then I wasn't asking the right people the right questions. I was just like, if Allah wills, maybe one day I will know it. Meanwhile, I have the opportunity around me, but I didn't ask. So that's one of those things that we just feel like, even as Muslims, like we need to be very conscious when we see people making progress, when we see people, in their various spaces and they're doing well, let's, reach out to them to learn from them, but not to keep bombarding them with questions like, yeah, will you be my mentor every time? No, but you need to be strategic about it. You can ask questions that are relevant to your current situation. Don't just go on people and start asking for mentorship. Well, there are different strategies to that, but I don't want to take time. Um, so let me move to the next slide. Actually, this slide, I prepared it for another similar session, so I'll just be using this today. Just like what I've said earlier, you need to reflect more about the opportunities that you think you want to apply for and why do you want it. I'll be doing this simultaneously with my personal story. Um, in my undergraduate studies here, I did health education at the University of Ilorin. So I always wanted to do masters in public health after I graduated, but unfortunately I couldn't go ahead with the masters immediately. That's around 2016, 2017. So I went back to classroom to continue teaching. But at a point I had to stop because I reflected, like I was teaching in the private primary school, and I have about 8 pupils in my class. And I was wondering what I want to achieve in the next 2 years, teaching eight pupils. I'm not saying that people that are doing that will not have something to achieve, but I reflected on my own position, then my situation, and what I aspire for in the next 5 years. And I realized that staying in the classroom teaching these 8 pupils in this particular school might not lead me to where I want to be. So I had to decide to take a break from classroom teaching. I I reached out to my friend who works with NGO, runs an NGO. I told him, guy, I'm interested in this work you do, you know, community project and all these things. I did something related to that in service, but I think I need to do better now. So I started volunteering, and that was how I left the classroom. I started doing more educational work, real life projects with students in the South community. Now I'm sharing this for you to know that you must have a reason why you are on a particular journey. Don't just go because people are going. Don't just apply because people are applying. Don't just belong to a community because you feel like, yeah, people, this is the way people are going. I will ask yourself, do I really want to be there? And if I'm there, what do I really want to take out from there? So yeah, I keep, following volunteering with the organization. And from there, I started learning different things about education problems and how we need to keep tackling all these challenges. From there, I started learning about design thinking. I started learning about sustainable development. I said, okay, these are problems of the world. So what's my position? If you see in my profile picture here, I was holding a badge, or let me call it a banner for sustainable development goals. And I was pointing to 2 goals there, quality education and good health and well-being. Those 2 goals are more particular to me, probably because I studied health education in school and I'm still working on educational development in Nigeria. So I think around 2020, I took a step forward to think about reflecting on starting an initiative myself, and I started Literacy for African Child Education and Development. What do we do to promote literacy within students, children living in underserved and marginalized communities? While doing that, the inspiration kept coming like, okay, a lot of people used to apply for opportunities. I've always been hearing about Yali and my Mandela Washington Fellowship and other international opportunities. So who are those that used to apply? What do they have? What's their qualification? Then I realized that it's not about your degree. It is not about, yes, degree, maybe your grade might also tell, most especially when it comes to, postgraduate studies. But all these things that you want to do is not just about your degree. What problem do you want to solve? And how have you been taking action? So for me not to stay idle, I needed to sacrifice about those period to keep working and volunteering. Um, Most times it doesn't come with financial gain, but you are doing something you love to do, and at the same time you are being intentional on that journey. So why I say that, okay, I love it is my passion. A lot of people will say, okay, you're going on a project from one place to another, you don't have money to even live your own life. Maybe you are living a fake life. I say, okay, Alhamdulillah, if you call it a fake life, but I know what I'm preparing myself for. It's not for today, probably for the future. So all those experiences and ideas I keep exploring, joining Teach for Nigeria for 2 years, the work I did with my students, you know, they started my teaching. When I went back to the classroom, my teaching strategy changed. And I used to call myself a 21st century educator. And I started doing things with students that are more innovative, that people will be like, oh, how easy was it? How easy was it for this person to, organize such a thing in this community where they don't have electricity, no light, a rural area where students do not even have not even seen projector in their classroom. So I started doing all these innovations and getting my students prepared. So my friend reminded me in 2021, he said, Afasaka, hey, I'm applying for chevening scholarship. Oh. I told him, I said, well, I will, inshallah. He said, if you need any support, let me know. He shared his essay with me. I read through the essay and I was like, okay, these are what you've done in your own career trajectory. You were able to put all these stories together. Where is my own story? How can it compete with this? And I know Juvenile Scholarship is highly competitive. So I had to up my game as well. I said, okay, because you've shared this essay with me doesn't mean I should apply immediately, but I need to, understand what it takes to be there. So I redefine the work I do and I focus more on education and technology, knowing that I want to study education and technology for my master's program. But do I have the fund to do that outside the country? No. Even if I want to do it in Nigeria, I will still struggle a little. So I started preparing myself, and from there we started doing things that related more. I started doing things that related more to education and technology. And in 2022, I decided to apply. Even before applying for chevening, I applied for one scholarship in Nigeria, and that's Nigeria University of Technology and Management, NUTM. I got the 85% scholarship first, I think 2022 or so. I got that and they asked me to go and look for 1.4 million. I said, I don't have. I didn't take the offer. 2023, they reached out to me. They said, yeah, by now you should have gotten more fund, to support your study. But now it has now increased to 4 million naira. I say 4 million naira. How can I get that? But then I rejected that as well. And someone is raising a hand. Please go ahead if you want to ask a question.
Sorry, sir. Please, we are going. There will be a segment for question and answer so that we can meet up with our
Okay, I don't
time.
know. I thought maybe it's one of the organizers though.
Can you jot down your question,
All right,
please?
so let me just move ahead.
And type it in the chat box. Thank you.
Yeah. So I got that. I didn't take that opportunity, but I had intention of just applying for chevening. I applied for MasterCard as well. And while applying, there are things that I learned in those process. My friend will tell me, like, don't be a lazy researcher. If you want to apply for an opportunity, make sure you research more about that opportunity you are applying for. First, yes, I already knew why I wanted to apply for postgraduate study. to build leadership skills, to connect with people, and maybe not majorly for relocation, and it could be considered later. So yeah. So my friend will tell me, like, if you are searching for opportunities, don't be a lazy researcher. Go and search in depth. Like, make research. What do they need? What do I have? What is my why? Are they connected? If yes, then don't jeopardize our opportunity. Just take an advantage. The worst thing that will happen is that you apply, they will say they reject you. But rejection is not the end. It's more like a redirection, just for you to double up next time. So, and I started reading more about some of the courses I wanted to do. I went online, go to the university's website, go to their faculty, go to that course that I want to do, that pathway. I went to check all their scheme, their content, curriculum, and I started picking some interest. Like, okay, this thing is connected to what I want to do. I love something about designing and technology. I love educational features. I love this. I started learning all those things and writing out those codes for the courses. I went further to, make research about some of the professors in that department to know their area of specialization. What are they doing? What research are they on? Some on datafication in education, some on, technology in education, some about sociology in education. So I started gathering those information that I needed, that I know will be helpful for me when I started my application. Yeah, starting my application for chevening scholarship is about, I think, 4 different categories. They're going to ask about leadership and impact. And there's another one about networking. And there's another one about your career, I think career trajectory or something. Yeah. And why you choose the schools you've chosen and the course you've chosen. So for the leadership and impact, they asked questions like chevening wants, scholars who have been leaders, who are leading change in their ways, who are making great influences in their communities and all. So how do you prove? That's not the exact way the question is. Like, how can you convince us that you are the leader that we want? So that takes me to, it took me to reflecting more about the work I've been doing. Then I started with a personal story that connects well with what I wanted to do. So I said, um, I don't know if I'm just, can you see my screen? I just want to confirm that.
Yes, sir. We can see your screen, sir.
Okay. I'm actually trying to check. So I started with a personal story around my own journey into education. What led me to become a teacher? I said I was raised in a financially challenged home. My parents struggled to afford my basic education resources. This affected my self-esteem, and I felt disadvantaged among my peers. This steered my interest at the age of 16 into volunteering as a basic education teacher in a low-income private school in Agege, Lagos. In 2017, I joined an organization to empower children in underserved communities with leadership and 21st century life skills. I became the Director of Curriculum Development and Planning, where I designed a curriculum of learning that has impacted 6,750 children across 4 states in Nigeria. I went ahead saying, in January 2021, following my quest for continuous leadership and impact, I joined Teach for Nigeria, which is an organization that mobilizes young people to fight education inequity in deep rural communities in Nigeria. And a week into my fellowship, I realized that 75% of my learners have not experienced electricity. About 50% of them have not traveled beyond their community in the last 5 years. And a large number of boys are more passionate about fishing and informal job than being in school. But 4 months into my fellowship, I established an effective relationship with my students. Then the story continues because I don't want to also read everything like that. So that's how I picked the story. You could recall that when I started with my own situation. And when you're approaching, writing these essays for scholarship, there is a requirement for the way you need to tell your story. And they used to call that format situation, task, action, result. Situation, task, action, result. Please confirm if you can still see my screen.
Yes, sir, I can see your screen, sir.
Okay, good. So situation, task, action, result. Um, the situation, if you recall, when I started with my own personal story, what what I was going through before I now become more aware about problems around education and what I started doing. More like that situation, you have to put it out first. Then talk about the task. What have you been doing? What have you been doing? What is necessary for you to do? So I needed to, organize initiative to correct these anomalies. Then what was the action? I started training the student. And what was the result? Within 8 months, when I joined the school, my students started winning like not scholarship opportunities, but international opportunities, even national opportunities, traveling to Abuja on whole expense paid to, for a competition, and they won. They came back home, everybody in the school were like, no, we are not sure that, okay, before we travel, they said we are not even sure that this program we are taking them to is not a scam. We got to Abuja, we took the picture, we sent to them. The principal was like, is it for real? They sent it to the district. The head of the principals, like the DGBS, they said, no, 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 these are not your students in that Lagbo. You went to go and rent this student. That's
Sorry, please.
that
Sorry,
should
sir.
show you, that should have shown you that look at the rate of change that has happened in such a little time. So sometimes when you need something, you have to put your all in it and make sure you do it diligently. Fine, you might have it at the back of your mind that you are doing it because you want to apply for scholarship. That is not a crime. You might also do it because you know that, okay, this is what I want to do, is my passion. But if I get anything from it, alhamdulillah. If I don't get, walillah alhamd. So that's actually how it started. And we started looking at, okay, don't let us waste opportunities sooner. Maybe people are applying, let us do apply. And I applied as well. So there are a lot of things around that, but don't forget your structure for writing essays. I might not be able to go into deeply into it because of the limited time we have. 30 minutes is not enough actually to talk about scholarships. So yeah, and they ask a lot of questions about the courses you want to take. Go, like I mentioned earlier, go and research more. Why do you want to even choose that course? How connected is it for you, like for your career trajectory? Who are you becoming? Is your story connected? I know some people who are interested in, just like I said, I did health education, and they want to do something like international education in their postgraduate study for their scholarship. And they'll be doing projects that are related more on health. And you want to do international education. So if you are telling your story, at a point, it might not be connected. You just be trying to force yourself. I have a friend who studied microbiology in school. She wanted to do public health, and she has been working in the banking sector for more than 4 years. She's not volunteering with any health organization. She's not doing any health project. And she said she wants to do public health for master's program. When she approached me, I told her, I said, you should have been, like, I didn't mean you have some volunteering experience. I would have said, okay, but because you're my friend, don't worry. I will just tell you what to do. If you win, alhamdulillah. If you don't, then you know what you need to do next. So she did, she applied and she got rejected. I'm not saying that if you have all this story connected and everything clear, you might still be rejected because that's Allah. Anything can happen. I also applied, like I did everything fine. I was selected. I got to the interview stage. I thought everything would be fine. And at the end of the day, when they were giving scholarship to people, they didn't give me scholarship. They put me on probation, like I said, probation, on reserved list. Everybody was celebrating already. I was like, God, when is my own going to happen? When you get to a point like you're now saying, Mata Nasrullah, Allah inna Nasrullahi qarib. Like you've lost your hope. You're just knowing that, oh God, please do my own for me too. So just a particular evening, I was on the bus and I got the message that I've been upgraded. I was just like, Subhanallah. I was just vibrating. I wanted to throw my phone away that evening. But when you're too overexcited, that is one of the power of Allah. Sometimes He delays something because He wants you to learn lesson from it. That is not because you thought or because you believe in yourself that you can win it. If Allah did not give you that permission you want. So I'm sorry to say, for some of us that might still apply and still get rejected, just learn your lesson from it and believe that Allah is in control. and pray for the best. So I don't know how many minutes I have left, but I know I've spent up to more than 20 minutes or 25. Yeah.
Yes, sir. You still have 7 more minutes, sir.
Oh, beautiful. So if I still have 7 more minutes, definitely I can still say a little thing. So how do I prepare for global opportunities? Just like I've mentioned, research thoroughly, check the eligibility. Some opportunities might have age limitation. There are some things I want to apply to recently, but because of my age, I'll just say, they say, above 30, don't apply. See, God, why? And that is why some of us that are still younger, we should quickly take advantage of all these things to keep ourselves in position so that when this opportunity comes, age will not be a barrier. The application details too, like we need to go through them to check what do we need to provide. The language requirements, maybe they need you to do IELTS. Maybe you also need, for chevening scholarship, they won't ask you for English language test, but the schools you are applying to might need it. So you need to go and check that school. What is their condition? For me, I didn't do any English language test. I went to check their criteria around English language proficiency, and I saw that they could accept WAEC result if you have C4 in English and mathematics, I think. And if you can also provide English language proficiency letter from your university or your recent organization where you engage people or communicate with English language. So those were the things that I put together. So, it's not just about you writing the essays. Go and check all these criteria and ensure that you have the resources. If you know you don't have them, don't just try. Don't just try because you might be rejected. But at least if you know you've done your own due diligence, if you are rejected, you know that, okay, maybe there's something missing. So it is always good to have clarity on what we want to do. Just like the prophet also taught us that aniya, qabla al-amal. Aniya ló ń ṣíwájú iṣẹ́. Before you do something, you must have a good intention about what you want to do before you set yourself on that particular journey. So yeah, financial consideration, check those things as well. The scholarship you are applying for, is it a full scholarship? Is it a partial scholarship? If it's a partial scholarship, how are you going to manage yourself? For example, Think Big Scholarship will ask you, you'll be given a particular amount, support for your fund, but how are you going to sustain yourself when you're in the UK to study? So for some people who are not here already, they might not have that idea of, okay, maybe I'm going to take a part-time job or something like that, or maybe I'm going to leverage other internal scholarship opportunities that are in that particular school. So all this information, you cannot know it by just thinking you have all the resources with you. There are people you need to, have the conversation with, okay, these are things I need to do. And it is funny today because we have access to ChatGPT. People will be like, yeah, I can just put the question on ChatGPT and ChatGPT will help me to write essay. ChatGPT will help you to do the research you need to do for, to personalize whatever you want to do. You need to go there and make your research, speak to people, let them share their idea, their experiences with you. And all these things are things you can put together to make a winning essay. Well, I wouldn't say my essay is the best because if it was the best, I should even be among the first set of people that will get the congratulatory email. But unfortunately, as Allah would have it, Alhamdulillah, the rest is becoming story today anyway, because it's already 1 year. Yeah. Then there are other things. Just explore. Your planning, your preparation, and all this. Like for me, when I wanted to start, just like you see on screen here, I had a draft of the requirements for each school. And as soon as I started, I have access to each of them. I'll just tick them out. Okay, this is done. This is available. I'm working on this. I've gotten this. Okay, maybe it is references I want to get. Yeah, all those things. And once I submitted, I write the dates there. I move on. The next one, that's how I, put everything into plan. Don't just say because, yeah, let's say if it's 500 words, 4 questions, it's 2,000. They are more than that. Look at the work you've done for more than 10 years, and somebody asks you to put it in 500 words. How do you want to do it? How? So there is skills to these things. Don't forget situation, task, action, result, and probably lesson as well. adding lesson. And when you are writing your essay as well, always report with data, numbers, like maybe 3,000 and can you reach out to this. Maybe you've worked on 5 projects across Nigeria. For example, there was a particular aspect of my essay where they asked me, where I mentioned that I trained my students for 30 hours in a stretch of 3 days. Look at that number. I trained them for 3 days. I can say I trained them for 3 days. But I have to bring out the figure for them to know that it's not easy. For 30 hours, I calculated 10 days, 10 hours for each day. So bring all these elements out from your essay. Let them know that this person is really ready for this. Yeah, maximizing opportunity. When you get scholarship, it will expand your network. Your ideas about yourself will change. For me, the most important thing I learned here is critical thinking. I'll keep saying it because critical thinking, for you, me, but while writing my essays, and my supervisors would just say, lack of critical thinking here, lack of critical thinking there. I'll be like, but I think I was critically thinking through this thing before now. What's happening? But as time goes on, you keep learning how to write a better essay beyond what you've even known before now. Yeah. Building your personal brand. For me now, when I want to tell people, I say, yeah, I'm an ed tech professional or ed tech enthusiast or maybe ed tech expert because I know what I've went through. Even if I'm not able to offer 85% of being an ed tech consultant or professional, but I have some experience that I've been building for a while, even before I came here to study a master's in education and technology. So yeah, keep
Sorry, sir.
exploring while
1 minute.
preparing, keep learning, keep building your skill, and keep preparing for the best for yourself. And I would just end with this quote of a wise man who says that how much I missed simply because I was afraid of it. Paulo Coelho. How much I missed simply because. So don't be afraid. La tekunu to me rahmatillah. Try your luck, try your best, and pray. You might be the next winner of the next scholarship. So in case you want to learn more about the points or the steps with it, I wrote an article last year. I called it 10 Hints to Ace Your Chevening Scholarship Application. It's on my personal blog, sakaspeaks.blogspot.com. You can check it. And if you have any other information you want to know, we can always reach out to my social media at Jazakumullahu khair.
Naam, Jazakumullah khairan, sir.
Aminua.
We really appreciate it, sir. It's and informative. May Almighty Allah reward you for that, sir. So I'll quickly summarize what our first speaker have said. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sir. So our first speaker talked about you asking yourself, do I really learn from the rejection letter? Like, if you are trying to apply and you get a rejection letter, you should ask yourself if you really learn from it. Another point is, know the reason why you are applying for that scholarship. Don't just apply because people around me are applying. Then another point here is ask questions about relevant things to your study. You cannot just unfold and think everything will go smoothly. So you need to ask questions. You need to have people that has done it before. And another point is don't be a lazy researcher. I repeat, don't be a lazy researcher. What does that mean? Always make your research. Always make your research. As a research, you learn new things. Okay, and the last point I will be talking about is the steps, the situation, task, action, results. And what does that tells us? It tells us that it is the situation that you have presently that will determine the task you'll be doing. Then after doing the task, you put in action, and definitely you will see results, inshallah rahman. So we really appreciate it, sir. Jazakumullah khairan. So we're going to hand it over to the second speaker. Scholar Sadiq, please, are you with us, sir?
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Kindly confirm if you can hear me.
Okay, sir. Please,
okay, can you hear me?
Stop sharing your screen, sir. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, we can hear you, sir.
All right. Okay. So that's a proceed. Go ahead. So thank you so much. And once again, my name is Aliyu Sadiq. I've really listened to Brother Saka, and I think I'll say I'm also more inspired again because of his wonderful story. He has said a lot, but I will just maybe share very little of my own personal experience, and then I can again deep dive into some of those tricks and strategies that can actually help you like write something, an essay that is very compelling and can give you an edge towards winning. I see a lot of my big brothers in the house, Mr. Ajibade Sadiq, and others. So for me, I would say 4 years, 3 years ago, it's more of like me just doing my thing, working in the environment sector, creating solutions to address issues of waste, pollution, climate solutions. And I never really paid much attention to, scholarships and all of that. I just wanted to like create some difference, make some, efforts to solve some societal problem because I was just keen and against the current narrative of just finish school, get a job, and then you feel like life is okay. But I think I had like quite solid people who like could see that yeah, guy, you're doing something great. Why not? There are a lot of scholarships you can apply to, So I think that was really.
Sorry, sir. I think your network is breaking, or is it mine?
Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, but it's kind of breaking, sir.
Okay, I don't know if it's just you or every other person. Please, if you can hear me, please can you just do a thumbs up on the. Oh, okay. So can you hear me better now? My apologies. I'm actually on transit, so maybe there might be some little background noise. Just confirm if you can hear me now.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. Okay. So I said I was actually like focused more on the work I was doing, which I think Brother Saka highlighted that you cannot like overemphasize the power of like doing the groundwork. You need to have like a focus on impact. And that could actually be you wherever you are. It could be you working in an organization. It could be you having your own initiative. It could be you volunteering for other initiatives. Most importantly, you're driven by impact. And because I think there's a secret to these whole scholarships and opportunities. They are out for a particular set of people. And this set of people they are out for are people who have made a lot of impact and who have potentials to make more impact. So now you have their marking scheme. You ask yourself, how do you position yourself for these people to see what they are looking for in you? Have you made impact and do you have the potentials to make impact? I think that was my motivation, and then I gave it a try. I think in 2023, which didn't really turn out well. And then 2024, I just decided to let me do this again, but in a more advanced way. Let me put more effort. So you cannot again under overemphasize the power of your commitments, right? You have to put in work because even Allah said you need to put the work before He can help you. So and the work is like bringing in all of your impact work into written. Again, like Brother Saka said, how can you put all of these things in a very short summary, in a very short essay that might not be more than 500 words, or if you're lucky, 1,000? That's a lot of work. And I'm really, sometimes I get, surprised when I see, people just write essay in like 2 days and they tell you, I don't do my essay finish. Actually, it's way beyond that. You have a lot of people who are competing for this same opportunity like you, like if not thousands. And then you ask yourself, what would make me stand out among the crowd? So just tell yourself, I'm competing with 1,000,000 people or 1,000, 100,000 people. And if everybody is saying the same thing, then why will the person reviewing my application find my own interesting? If you put in this kind of a mindset cap, then you know that you have a lot of work to make your own essay distinguished. So first of all, you need to do the groundwork. If it's 1 year experience, 2 year work experience, If you're lucky that you're still in school, then you have a lot of time to do the volunteering work. If you're already out of school, then you need to, if you haven't started, you need to start. And if you have started, congrats. The next thing you need to do is how can you package your essay to become very effective. So I think during my last essay, which was, I was lucky and opportune that it fetched me like 2 scholarships, the chevening and the Erasmus. Deciding on which to go was a bit challenging, but alhamdulillah, I was able to make a choice. But what I'm trying to say is that because I had to restructure, I had to like think of what else do I need to do. And then I needed to like attend a lot of like webinars like this. I needed to ask people who have gotten the scholarship, what did they do differently? And then again, not just accepting a lot of information you get, right? You accept. I think I also refer back to Brother Zaka's statement about critical thinking and evaluation. You need to now evaluate all of these things. Some of the ideas you would hear might not apply to you, so you skip them. Some things might apply to you, but you need to just modify it a little bit to suit you, because we are all different people with different unique ideas, and so it's not like a formula. If it's a formula and everybody is on the webinar, then everybody would have the same essay like you. And again, ask yourself, how can I make my own essay very outstanding, right? Because all of the webinars, all of the how to ace your applications are online on YouTube, and everybody watches it. I'll give you an example of why I said this. It's because when I was doing my chevening application, and then I scaled through to the interview, all of the essays I watch, all of the videos, and then they're like, you need to ask a question. That's like you have to craft a very powerful question, and that makes the interviewers, see that yes, you have researched. And then, so I asked myself the question. I said, if everybody says I need to have a question, and that means everybody will ask a question. That means if I ask a question, it's more of just doing what everybody is doing. And guess what? I was lucky, and then I discussed with somebody, and he was very open to me. He said, "You must not ask a question. It's not necessary. It's not a requirement." What I did was I was very sincere during the interview. I told them when it's time for question, I said I don't have a question, and all I told them was I would just like to know how I can connect with them even beyond this interview, trying to prove again my networking skills to them, nothing more. So what I'm trying to say in summary is you don't need to follow the trend that everybody is following. Ask yourself, in this trend, what have I learned and how will I apply it to my own self that will make it different? Now, I think another part that is very important, which I would make more emphasis on, is the fact that how do you structure your AC for any kind of essay you're applying, whether it is Erasmus, whether it is chevening, whether it's a MasterCard, Commonwealth, whatever. This might be something that can help you. And one of it is your structure of any of your essay. You need to, first of all, very important, sit down, take a few days or a few hours, quality time that your brain is most relaxed. Carry a piece of paper and write. Think about all the impact you have done in this life since when you were growing up. There are a lot of things that we actually skip, and they might be very important to our application. Apologies again, my background might be noisy. I'm actually in transit. So you need to reflect and gather all of your thoughts,
No problem, sir.
All of the impact you have done, write them on a paper, and then prioritize. Okay, last 2 years, I went to this NGO volunteering that we were able to train 30 people in IDP camp. Write it down. Where did you do it? Who did you partner with to do it? How many people did you do it? What was your role in doing it? Think again. Maybe when you were in the university, there was this committee you were part of that helped to organize an election, that the election was successful. What did you do? You were a secretary general. How did you, all these things are important. It can be little basic details, but they might be very, very necessary for your essay. So when you reflect on this is like a very important part, not just to jump into writing essay because you did one project last year, then you capitalize everything on that. No, it has to be a flow, and that shows your originality. Like you have really been doing this thing. You connect the dots. You show your impact in a lot of areas. The second you need to now do is to put in into writing. I think I'll use the chevening structure. Maybe that can also apply to others. Most others are just SOPs and the rest, but I'm more familiar with chevening and Erasmus, so I'll use chevening. So you have like four critical sections: the leadership, the networking, the study in the UK, and then the last part, which is your career path. And each of these sections, one thing is that whatever essay, they have to connect themselves. You can't write in the first essay just talk about how you're a leader, and then you don't connect it to why you became a leader and how you use this leadership to achieve your career, your future career. So, and then you must demonstrate all of the skills. So ask yourself again, what what are the skills? What are the skills that these guys are looking out for? Chevening, for example, is looking out for leaders, is looking out for people who are good in networking, is looking out for people who have a very clear career path, is looking out for people who demonstrate that they know what they want and they know why they're going to UK. Now, you know these are Christians, so you mark them down. Then, whatever it is you want to do in any section, you have to try to fit in these things while focusing on the major goal of that essay. So I'll give an example. In the leadership, they want to see you demonstrate your leadership skills. So whatever you do, again, another tip, always give clear example, minimum 2 or 3. You're not just telling them, I'm a leader, I was the firstborn in my house. No. You can, I don't know, you can give that as a background, but you have to give clear example, 2 or 3, how you were a leader. For example, okay, I was a student president in my university, and this offered me the opportunity to lead about 3,000 students, organizing programs and that. Now, not just that, you have to now talk about use that. There's an approach called the STAR approach, which Brother Aviz mentioned again. Situation, task, action, and reaction. And then lessons learned. So you can just say star L, star, and then L, that's lessons learned. So what was the situation? You need to always highlight. So you can't solve a problem without, you can't solve you can't create a solution without a problem. You need to always highlight what was that problem, and don't take it too big. It can be as little as, when I always go to school every day, there was this gutter that was always smelling, and I feared it could actually cause health problems to other students who are passing that road every day. I identified that problem and organized a small cleanup, partnering with the agency in the States, and then we're able to clean it, and then we planted trees, and that place became a garden. Just a simple example, right? It mustn't be that you want to solve Nigeria's problem, but you have to always talk about the situation. What was the situation? And then what was the task? Meaning, like, what did you set out to do? And then what was the action? How did you do it? Who did you partner with? How did you raise funds to do it? And then start, what was the impact? So, like Brother said again, always quantify how many people have you helped that usually pass that road, that would no longer pass that road and get exposed to that health challenge. So if you try to always structure all of your essays in this form, then that can be very helpful to you. And then so back to the networking, which I was trying to give a reference to. You can, again, to make your story more interesting, you can always try to begin with some powerful scenarios, like a quote. Maybe if you're a fan of maybe Winston Churchill, you can be like, oh, something that relates to your essay, maybe about a leader, maybe, oh, the world is better when we have more, I don't know, just something like that. Or you can think of a powerful opening statement. And the secret of a powerful opening statement is that it helps whoever that is reviewing your essay to capture their mind to your essay. Don't forget, they are reviewing thousands of essays. So once they don't find your essay, beginning of your essay interesting, it might really not even motivate them to want to focus and read and understand. So you need to always ask yourself. So I will always recommend getting a powerful quote that suits the context of what you want to say. And then you can go into your big story of your star. What was the situation? And then what inspires you? And Then you bring in examples. Those examples come from those examples you have highlighted and you have prioritized, like you thought about all the impacts you have made. I've met my mentor last year. Actually, he was a secondary school teacher. So you mustn't have an NGO or you mustn't be working in Bill Gates Foundation to actually win these opportunities. You just need to be strategic. Then I think Brother Hafiz highlighted again, you need to do your research. So your research is ask yourself, what are those extra little details that other people will not see that you will see and you add to your essay? These are things that are very important. These are things that make your essay unique. Go to their website, go to chevening website, go to the school, the university you're applying for. Not just the website. Now, everybody will go to the website, right? So what would you do again extra? Even from the website, which I love what Brother Happy said, he researched even the lecturer. So now you see from the website, he has extended to seeing the lecturers through the website. Maybe he can even go to check the profile of the lecturers through the website. And then he can highlight that, oh, Professor Monday James in this university has this particular skill which I want to learn. Now, when you come and write your essay, or maybe if you're in the career path, why you want this university, you can highlight that, oh, I've been following up with Professor Monday because he has experience in this skill, which is very critical to my own career growth. This is where I want to. Now, whoever that is reading your essay know that you know what you are saying. He knows that you have extended beyond what other people would do. Not just to go and say, I want Coventry University because it's the fifth ranking in QR and it is the second best in the UK. Everybody will say that. So always ask yourself this question. If everybody will say it, then tell yourself you shouldn't say it. You should find a way to say something unique. That is your selling point, and that is what will make you an ideal candidate. Then every sentence you make in your essay, you cannot do a compelling essay in one day. Every essay you would make has to carry weight. You can't so for example, you have 10 sentences that talk about how you were growing up in Meduguri and you were exposed to Boko Haram, Then you now come and say, oh, this was what inspired me. No, it's too long. So you can
Sorry, sir, you have 10 minutes remaining, sir.
All right, thank you so much. I'll try to not exhaust the 10 minutes. So you can compress it into like maybe 2-3 sentences. Basically, what do you want to talk about? Okay, what you grew up, okay, growing up in Midway. Okay, this you can just highlight it. Maybe you can even say, for example, I don't know, maybe if it's real, you can even say, oh, 10 out of 30 or 50 of your friends have either become members of Boko Haram or have been killed. And this gives you trauma every day. And this is what motivates you to want to create security solutions for the Northeast Nigeria. Now, is this what you have said alone is more compelling than go and write, oh, I grew up in Bama. When I used to grow up, I was going to school and we used to always see Boko Haram and my friends. No. You just so try to always make your sentences very, very coincide, because once the reader loses interest in your essay, then that's the end. Even if you have beautiful things to say. Then I think a few other things I would just highlight, which I wouldn't want to spend much time, and always look out for people to review your essay, but you have to first do the work. You have to first do the work, doing the research, doing the crafting, doing the review. In fact, give yourself target. I want to review this essay 10 times, because for every one time you review, you see something you need to change. You see something you need to add. You see something you need to adjust, so that you make whoever that is reviewing it for you easier, and then he can identify some points. I remember my Oga here on the call, Ajadi, and I think I sent him my essay last year, and when he checked it, he was like, "Oh, this is very good, honestly." And then I think he made a few comments. So I make the work easy for him, right? And he could give constructive feedback if he has, but if you just maybe just wrote one essay for 2 hours and there are a lot of corrections, the person reviewing would not be able to tell you everything, because he himself has a lot of other things to do. So try to always target yourself and say, okay, I will review this in 10 times and I'll make sure I give you the best before I get any other person to review for me. So be consistent with your goal. You can't be doing public health and you want to go to what's it called? You want to go and do security. No, you have to, even if you want to, then you have to link it, right? You must have a background story. You must have what inspires you. You must have what you're doing to show that you are really passionate about that. And then you must have a future goal. And all of these things should never be generic, always be specific. In the next 5 years, I want to create an organization that would partner with this, that would help that would help maybe 100,000 children to, you have to have like, be specific, nothing like being general. Oh, I would want to work in the environmental sector. No. So you must be, if you want to work in maybe in WRI, oh, I want to work in the World Resource Institute as a data development strategist who would help create innovative tech solutions for African, what? So you have to be specific. But all of this, you have to tailor it to your own interest, your own unique skills and the impact you have done. We are all different here, so we have a lot of different backgrounds. And then focus on results, right? How many people have you impacted? How many communities? How many solutions? Like we launched a game in, I think, last year or last 2 years, like a climate action game. And this game has actually, I think, been to like 3 countries or 4 countries. And at least over 1,000 people have played the game and are playing. So you need to quantify specific, oh, it's been in this country, or we have getting this number of people to play, or we are actually even working on a digital version of, all of these kind of things. You have to be specific. You can't just, this is what will make your own story different, and if you did some partnership, if you got some money, some grant, you must state who did you get the money from. Yeah, oh, I got this grant from MacArthur Foundation in 2024, which enabled me to carry out the outreach that touched, like that donated 50 sanitary pads to girls in IDP camps, and this has improved this, right? You must specify the names, so it makes your story unique. It's like you're telling somebody a story that doesn't know anything about you. You will be concise, but you would have to be specific. And then I think lastly, just an advice: don't try to use AI. Oh, ChatGPT, please give me idea. No. You have to coin your essay because most of the time, this will just put it through AI check, and then once they see AI generated, even if it's not AI generated, as far as you're giving AI to help you touch it, so they flag it. So just avoid it. Just try to review and get people to review it. Maybe the best you can do is paraphrasing app that you can just paraphrase your sentences, and that's all. And I think lastly, what's it called? Lastly, you pray to Almighty Allah to make it be the best way, because sometimes we are just lucky. It's not by our doing, but sometimes with the grace of God, then our effort becomes fruitful. So thank you so much, and I'll pause here. I hope I've not exhausted my 10 minutes.
No, you haven't, sir. Jazakumullah khairan, sir. We really appreciate such impactful and informative discussion. Thank you, sir. So I would like to give the summary of what our scholar have discussed. So it started with telling us to focus on our impact. That is, it can be a volunteering work for any impactful association. Just like Mira, you can try to volunteer for us, then you can put that in your story. Okay. Another point is ask yourself, ask yourself, how do you position yourself? Do you have impact? Okay, ask yourself, do you have impact to offer? Do you have things you can discuss? Do you have stories you can share that can make you stand out of the thousands of students that's applying? Another point is take time to write your essay. So don't be in a hurry while writing a scholarship essay. You have to take your time to write it before you give it to someone to review it for you. Another point is critical thinking and evaluation. Modify and package your essays. So this is telling us how we can think and write something different so that we are going to stand out of the thousands of students. And another point I would like to talk about is to explore the scholarship website. Yes, so you have to explore the scholarship website to know more about the scholarship you're applying for. Don't just apply for any random scholarship. You have to know the details of such scholarship, their requirements, what they need from you, what they want you to do. Check the course that is there if you are able to, if it aligns with your own goals. And another statement that I will be using it that we use to round it off is target yourself. That is, target yourself. Have a to-do list. List everything one after the other and start ticking it like Scholar Saka have said. So you tick it out. The more you achieve it, you tick it out. Then be consistent with your goal and be specific. Don't share the same story that others are sharing. Be specific. And lastly, don't use AI for writing your essay. You can only use it to proofread or to check if it is having any forms of plagiarism. So that is the excerpt from what the lecturer have said. So Jazakumullah khairan once again to our scholars. And now we are going to move to the question and answer segment. Please, if you have any question, you can kindly raise up your hand so that we have 15 minutes for that. Please kindly raise up your hands, or you can type it in the discussion chat. So thank you. Do you have any question? We are waiting for question, please.
Can you please check if there's any in the chat box?
Okay. Okay, I think the only one I saw here is Barakalaufi. My good people, can you send the name of the school for fully funded scholarship to study PhD in mechanical engineering? So I think that one is just like a request. The person is requesting for a list of schools that is offering mechanical engineering.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question.
Wa alaikum salam. So you can go on, sir.
MashaAllah, my name is Rabi Ahmed from Gombe State, I can say. Thank you very much for the facilitators on the facilitation. MashaAllah, thank you very much for your own trial. May Allah bless you all. My question regarding the scholarship, if assumes that somebody has first class and he also has an MBA program as a master's, even though it was a professional master's, I can say that's MBA. So how can is it possible for him to apply for, is it possible for him to apply for a PhD, or he should just go ahead to apply for MSc directly? He has MBA and he also has first class in his BSc. Thank you very much as you answered the question. MashaAllah.
Okay, Jazakumullah khairan for that question. I don't know if you have the right answer for that, but I think what I would just say is it depends on what exactly the person needs. Like, do you also feel like going for PhD is next for you? And do you also think like you need to have another master's degree to support what you already?
For me, I want to just go directly to PhD. So I don't know if it is applicable for somebody like me that has MBA.
Okay, I think it depends on the scholarship you're applying for. For example, the one I've experienced with, which is maybe Mastercard and chevening. I don't know, like they only have that for master's degree. But if you're looking forward for scholarship for PhD, you might want to make further research to know those fundings or scholarship opportunities that are relevant for your PhD study. But for chevening and Mastercard and maybe Take Big, they do more of masters. So, but for you to have first class in your PSC, you can still even explore to get. There are some masters, there are some scholarships that even get you PhD directly from your BSc if you have first class, and you have some, good stories around that as well. You can have from BSc to PhD straight up. It just takes some years.
Sure.
But specifically for Chevening and MasterCard or some of these scholarship, they are limited, not extended for PhD scholarship.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum to them.
Walaikum
Walaikum
salam.
salam.
Before we move on, I don't know if Dr. Kabir is online. He can also shed more light on that question. I don't know if he's online, because I think he's asking about either doing another master's or going directly to PhD. Right? That's his question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Can they admit someone like him?
Walaikum salam. Please, Dr. Kabir, can you please assist in responding to that question?
The question is, assuming that someone that has first class and already have MBA in Nigeria here, in masters, and if you want to apply for a scholarship, should he apply for another masters or should do a direct PhD?
It all depends on the country where the candidate want to study. If it's in the US, you don't even need a master to go for a PhD. So from your BSc directly, you can go for a PhD in the US. But for some other countries, so if the MBA is not in your field of in your area of study, you might have to do another master before you can proceed to PhD. But if it is in the US, you don't have to do a master before you can go for a PhD. So you can apply for a PhD directly. For some of my students now, I have like 2 students in the US now, directly from BSc in Kwasu, they are now doing their PhD in the US. So without even masters. So but for some of them, one in South Africa here, so definitely they have to do master before the PhD. I don't know if I answered the question correctly.
I mean, yes, I think you're able to answer the question. I think so.
Okay. Another question I'm having in the chat box is it true that chevening scholars must return to their home country at the end of their scholarship and spend 2 years before they can return to the UK? Do we hear the question, sir?
Okay, I think I had the question, and
yes, sir.
Well, if there's any other person in the house that also maybe won the chevening scholarship before and have more experience than I am, we can also learn from that, because for me, I'm still like, I just completed my study though. So it is true that it is required. You have to go back to your home country after your study, continue making the impact you want to make there. Then, if adventure you have other opportunities to explore, after that you can explore to move out of the country again or travel elsewhere to study. The requirement is, this thing there for chevening scholarship. But yeah, because when you're applying, you have to go through all these things and acknowledge that you're going to do them, like you're going to go back to your country. And I think the most important thing there is the impact you said you wanted to make after completing your study, because that was the reason why one of the reasons they sponsored you to gain more professional experience and network, so that you can scale your impact in your home country. So how is this going to continue? How is the impact how will it continue when you are back to your country? There are people who return home even after that 2 years. They might not even get the privilege, to continue doing what they wanted to do earlier, because things change. But for you to have even planned that that's why they ask your career trajectory. Upon return, what will you do in the next 5 years? What will you do in the next 10 years? What will you do? So yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. To the second speaker, please, can you shed more light on that too? If you have anything to say on it, sir, please go on, sir.
Okay, yeah. Regarding the UK, I think you have to go back to your country. But I think there are some quite suggestions that it doesn't stop you from going to other countries if you want to quickly continue with a PhD, but not just the UK. So I think that's it aligns with what your brother Saka has said.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So Adizas Abdraman, you were raising hands before.
Salam
Are you
alaikum.
there? Walaikum salam.
Salam alaikum. Yes,
Walaikum salam.
I really want to thank the scholars for the insightful, lessons, lectures, and all that. But
You're welcome.
I would like them to give us tips on the interview. So, what were some of those questions they were asked? Are they going to ask you what you have on your essay, or it's going to be on your own personal work? So, what's the interview like? Thank you.
Okay, sir, please rehear the question.
Yes, I had it. I don't know if the other speaker would like to go first.
I think because of time, maybe one of the speakers just answer it.
Okay, let me just answer this question. So,
Yes, sir.
it it depends on those who are interviewing you. It depends on the questions they have for you. And if this question, most of these questions will also relate with what you have already in your essays, and you should just be more strategic in the way you answer. So that's why even while writing your essays, you should also be more like you mentioned earlier. Maybe you are talking about leadership experience, then you mentioned two experiences that are related to it. For example, they ask you, we've read about your essay, we've read your essays and the beautiful work you do. Tell us about why do you think you deserve this as a leader or deserve to be a chevening scholar? Just tell us about your leadership experience. Then the way I was trained to practice for it, like just acknowledging, like, thank you for asking this question. When you ask about leadership, it reminds me of a lot of things and a lot of work I've done. And I would like to, tell you about two of my leadership experience. The first one is we talk about that and remember situation, task, action, result. And you move to the second one. Another example is talk about its situation, task, action, result. Then you've answered that question. So there are other questions like that. You just have to understand the way you have to approach them. Mostly in what you've written in your essay, but you're not reading what maybe you are cramming your essay and you're using it to answer a question. It won't go that way. Just understand what you've done. Since you are the one that did, you know how to tell your story better. Nobody can tell your story better than you.
All right, thank you, sir. So did be the last question from the chat box. The person said some UK university require English test course. So as for someone that doesn't have, what is the alternative? I think maybe the second speaker can answer this to save more time.
All right, just to quickly respond. So I think that's why before you apply for the school, you need to go to their website and see all their requirements. So if you see that you like this school and they require IELTS or English requirement, then it's the answer is simple. You either invest in it to get the requirements or quickly look for another school. There are hundreds of universities for you to choose those that do not need IELTS. Maybe just that maybe the school might be prestigious. So it's about priority and what you think you want for yourself.
Okay, Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Now over to you, Sister Zainab.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Firstly, I want to say Jazakallah khairan to our two speakers, Mr. Ali Omar Sadiq and Mr. Afiz Zakar. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us, how your application went. I'm sure that a lot of us have been able to pick one or two things, and I hope our applications will be successful. One thing I just want to remind us or anyone who is planning to apply for any scholarship, irrespective of which type, whether it's chevening, whether it's Erasmus, master, whichever one it is. And just like Mr. Afis said in the beginning, the fact that you've listened to this or several other lectures on how to strategize or plan your application, how your essay should be, what you should do, what you should not do. That doesn't mean that for your first application is going to be successful. It can be rejected, but you just need to continue reapplying, look at where the errors are, and inshallah, you would eventually be successful. So once again, Jazakallah khairan to our speakers, and Jazakallah khairan Sister Fatima for being the host for today's program. Thank you very much. And I would just like to end it by telling us that this program was organized by Muslims in Research and Academic, where we have monthly discussions on different topics that are useful for graduate students, early career researchers, and we have people with PhD here. We have people who are working in research institute, lecturers all over the world. And every month we do different topics. And this old every last Sunday of the month, 7:30 West African time. So if you are interested, you can join next month to listen to another topic, which will be very informative and will be useful for us as we go on with our postgraduate journey and our career as researchers or lecturers. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, and in case you are interested, we have a WhatsApp group where we share the information for our monthly discussion. And I'm very sorry for the noise. And we also share different scholarships that are also available for people that are interested, both masters and PhD, mostly PhD scholarships. So in case you are interested and you want me to add you to the WhatsApp group, you can put your WhatsApp number on the chat box and inshallah I would add you to the group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maya. Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
And inshallah, this is the end of today's program. Thank you very much.